So starting off with the first game of the evening, I was wrong about a whole bunch of shit. I picked Chrome and I picked under. Wrong and wrong. So it started off with a surprising take. Connor Fields sat and started to shake it up at MIDI for the Chaos. Chaos decided to play the Thompson, one of the Thompson brothers. So he started down low, and Connor Fields actually never even touched the field. So you wonder about that. Ball getting stuck in the stick a little bit, not enough assists. I was saying in the last podcast. So a lot of shit going down, a lot of different ideas going through their head, and trying to change something up because 0-4, you got to make some drastic changes. So starts off with Dane Smith opening up the scoring, and then you got Dane Smith to Josh Burns. So a quick 2-0 going up Chaos. But then you got McIntosh with a big field sweep, and then he comes through with great stick protection, and he's got a 2-1. Chrome with their first goal on the board, but then Ficaro from pretty deep out, he scores the third goal, and then amazing ball movement, Jordan Wolf gets a goal. So right off the bat, pretty much back and forth type of scoring. This was definitely a scoring game. There was not much defense going on today. There's going to be a lot of goals to go over. So we have Burn again. You'll hear that Burn again. So him again off a great ball movement. So you definitely see right off the bat that there's not only great job from that first Dane Smith goal, which was unassisted, and then you have a couple goals that come off a good ball movement, and then so you see two back-to-back goals, the Burn goal, and then the Salcido goal, which comes right now. Salcido unassisted all by himself, just comes down and just has his hands free and just fucking throws out the net and scores. So it's 5-2 at this point, and then we start getting a pushback from Crone. We have Gaudette with a goal, and then he gets absolutely fucking leveled after helmet comes off in the whole 9 yards. And then next we have Crotty to King with 4.3 seconds left in the first quarter. It's 5-4 after one. After that first quarter, Connor Farrell is still doing pretty well to face up, but TK is looking a little bit better than usual. A lot of scoring and not a lot of defense. So we would like to see, we have the big names coming out already. The only one who didn't really score was Dixon, but at that point, you have 5 goals in the first quarter. You're averaging 8 a game. So, I'm not really too upset about that. Starting off the second quarter, you got Big Body Stas running through a man for a goal, and then you got Big Body Stas again. Cannot be stopped. Big Body Stas. Now it's 7-4, and you're like, oh shit, like, is this time to pull away? But not just yet. You got King again off a great pump fake, and then he scores. And then we have Galloway, pretty good back-to-back saves, trying to keep the Chrome in this. But then you got Dane Smith again doing his best Big Body Stas impression, coming down on, I think it was the right side of the cage, really just fucking powering through his own man and scoring a goal up close. And then you got Byrne with his hat trick. He gets lost and has time and space. There was no one. I mean, I could have scored that goal at that point. That's how open this man was. So 9-5 at this point. But then we got a 4-on-3 fast break, fucking textbook goal. Jordan Wolf 9-6. But once you start thinking, pretty much back and forth, and then all of a sudden, starts getting kind of crazy out there. You got Ficaro from 2 on the power play, and you're like, fuck. Now it's 11-6. Even though, you could score 2 yourself, but it's easier said than done. And then next you have Smith on a crazy flip to Dixon, and Dixon scores with 8 seconds left in the half. It's 12-6 going into the half. I don't think anybody in their right mind was thinking that. I think, if anything, people thought the score was going to be flip-flopped. That second quarter was really the breakthrough for the Chaos offense. And, tough to see Chrome, go down like the way they did. Galloway trying to keep them in it. But at that point, it's everybody is stepping up at this point. It was almost like if you're like playing a video game and you're like, all right, like we'll use like 5% a game, and then once it gets to, we'll start using 10%. It's like, nah, they used 0, 0, 0, and they came out and they used 50% this game, and they just went balls to the fucking wall. Everyone was having a great day today. And then we got Ficaro from 2 again. Horrible, just like no one slid to him, so he had fucking time and day and night and evening and next year and the year after that to shoot the ball. So it's 14-6 right off the bat. Um, Galloway again with another great fucking save, so he's really trying to keep them in the fucking game. And Gutterding makes a payoff. He's got a great pass, pass down, pick down. So he was down low, pass comes down to him, pick comes down as well, and then he comes up and over, and then just no one really follows through with him, and then it's 14-8. Or is that 14-7? 14-7, I'm sorry. So 14-7 at this point. And then there was an easy fucking ground ball. Maybe it wasn't even an easy ground ball, but it's a ground ball right in front of your own net, and you think like, damn, like, this is definitely the time to body out motherfuckers. Like, it's a fucking basketball game, and you're in the paint. But nope, not a single Chrome guy does that. Not a single Chrome guy picks up the fucking ground ball. Byrne picks it up and scores easily 15-7. I think that was a bit of a heartbreaker right there. And then next you got Byrne to Thompson on the power play, 16-7. And then you have Connor Farrell off the faceoff to King. That's his hat trick for the day, 16-8, going into the fourth quarter. Not any progress right there by the Chrome in the third quarter. I think that's kind of what killed them, and I think just the fact that like no one grabbing that ground ball and them just fucking netting it on Galloway was a bit of a heartbreaker right there. But we have, Buchanan for Chaos absolutely breaks ankles. It's absolutely the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen in the sports in the PLL this year. This was absolutely fucking ridiculous. I think this guy needs to be cut and fucking banished. Banished from the lacrosse community. It was fucking outrageous. So 17-8 at this point. The game seems to be getting away. But then next thing you know, you got McIntosh on a nice cut. Gutterding feeds him the ball, 17-9. But Dane Smith doing his best big body Stas impression, fucking 18-9. They're not giving up, man. And Dane Smith is having himself a day, man, a day. And then you got Salama to Duggan. He gets hurt on the play, but he's able to net a goal, so it's 18-10. At this point, we are ridiculously over the over-under, in case you were keeping track. And then we got Wolf, a dump to Gaudette, and he slams it home, 18-11. And then we have a great save by Galloway on Dixon, and then you have Gaudette, a Hattie, on the power play, 18-12. And you're thinking, damn, maybe this is, we got 6 goals to make up. I think there are about 4 or 5 minutes left in the game. But this one kind of hurt. It was Byrne to Salcido for the goal. Byrne is racking himself some fucking points on this game. At this point, they're really pointing out that Connor Fields is still not in the game after they scored their 19th goal, which is more than they scored the season beforehand, and they were the leading team in scoring the year before. So pretty crazy, especially when you only average 8 goals a game. Doubling it in this do or die game is something to be told. Gutterding works down his man. It's 19-3. But then you got just a couple bad turnovers, a couple good saves by Reardon. And at that point, that just ticks down too much time. It's, you got Wolf with a late stat pad. It's 19-4, and that's how the game ends. So, pretty fucking crazy game overall. 35 goals in between the two teams. I went with the under, man. So I was at least fucking like 10 goals off. Probably like 13 though. So fuck me, right? So here we got Byrne with 7 points, Smith with 6 points, Carl with 6 points. On the other side, Wolf King and Gutterding all had 4 points. I think like fucking 9 guys scored for the Chaos, which is pretty fucking ridiculous. I haven't seen a team with 10 goal scorers yet, but 9 has been, that upper edge. And usually a team that has 9 goal scorers is kind of the team that comes out on top. TK 30% on faceoff. Believe it or not, that's better than usual. Connor Farrell 77% on faceoff. Believe it or not, that's that's better than usual. He's 56% on the year. Blaze Reardon 12 saves, 46%, which is, believe it or not, worse than usual. And Galladay 11 saves, 39%. Yeah, not really a goaltending day in this game. 39 ground balls for the Chrome. Doesn't really matter too much, though, because they had 14 turnovers to pair it up. So they will be playing the winner of the Archers Atlas game. The Archers Atlas game starts right after this Carolina Rangers game, which is 3-1 with a minute 35 seconds left in the third period. Carolina's up. Carolina has been playing fucking ridiculous, man. Let me fucking tell you. Absolutely ridiculous. But next we have the Water Dogs Redwoods game. I went with the under for this, and obviously I went with the Redwoods. Today in net we had DeLuca. He's a 6'6" goaltender. He's absolutely gigantic. And we have Brent Adams starting at attack. I think for Matt Kavanaugh. I think Matt Kavanaugh was taking some shifts at midfield. So you see both teams kind of struggling with offense, take out some of their better guys, and either move them or take them out of the game completely. Game starts. Susanello scores after it was just the most disgusting first quarter of lacrosse I've ever seen in my entire fucking life. It took 9 minutes and 30 seconds for anyone to fucking score. 1-0 Water Dogs. But then Joe Walters drills a shot just inside the arc. It's 1-1. Just a super sloppy, super slow offensive, the worst ball movement you could ever fucking imagine. Just not a great game for the offense. Polar opposites games, if you're really being, if I'm really being honest. So that's the first quarter. Yeah, that's 3 bullet points, and half of them were about the starting lineups. Woods have been pretty good on the faceoffs in that first quarter, though. 3 out of 4, which is something that you don't really see too often. Good looks on them. Good looks on, I can't pronounce your name still. And Smith, they had a pretty good game, especially against the second best face-off men or duo in the league. But anyway, in the second quarter, we have Brent Adams with a great step down. So 2-1, nice to see him get on the boards, especially him starting to attack. Sebastian Aho just iced the game for Carolina. Good, fuck the Rangers. So we have Garnsey through Pedersen. Amazing feed on the power play. 3-1 Redwoods. Brent Adams again off a transition. 4-1 Redwoods. But then the Water Dogs start coming back. No one's covering Snyder. He is all by himself. It was almost as bad as that other fucking goal that I went over. I forget how I described it. Let's check it out real quick. Yeah, I forgot how I described it. But however I described that other goal where no one was fucking... I was speaking about years to take this shot. It was about the same for this one. Redwoods with some pretty shitty ball movement, but that actually changes towards the fourth quarter, which I was extremely happy with being a fan and extremely impressed with because of how shitty it really was. Connor Kelly scores as the power play expires. It's 4-3, but then Garnsey beats his man one-on-one, really works over his dude, but it was more of a push into him, and then there was a push back, but Garnsey took a step back, so it was a push into the air. He hits the ground, Garnsey walks around him, and scores. Don't really see that too much. Don't really see Garnsey beat his man one-on-one with, I guess you could say, physicality. Only 7 shots in the first half by the Water Dogs, and they're 40% on faceoffs. Definitely two things that you don't see much from the Water Dogs. Maybe if they're having a bad half, you see those 7 shots, which they definitely did, but both teams kind of did. And the 40% faceoff is definitely something that you don't see, because Simino and Withers have been outstanding this season. I think Simino has been the second best faceoff man in the entire league. I'd probably say comfortably that even though he is splitting face-offs with Withers, I'd probably say that. I'd probably give that a good argument. Starting the second half, again, this third quarter is gonna be faster than the fucking first. We have Courier evades a hit. Actually, this was really nice. This was almost like if a person did a toe drag. Kind of just hitches around. I think it was Garrett Apple coming in, and is able to score on the power play. 1 goal game, 5-4 Redwoods. Troutner was huge. He was huge in this third quarter. Had huge back-to-back saves on the penalty kill, and then that ended up we killed that, and then we got on the power. Or Redwoods got on the power play. Jones from 2, 7-4. Starting to see some distance. Don't speak too soon. Fourth quarter starts, and this is when shit starts to really go down. Teams are starting to feel a little desperate. The defensive short stick, Ocello, takes a shot, and then the rebound comes right to fucking Adams, and then Adams nets that. That's his first hat trick. I think he only had 1 goal in all of the fucking regular play, but with this, he's already got a hat trick, so that's always great to see. And then you have Miles Jones coming down, lefty on a 4-0 run. Redwoods on a 4-0 run. He's got that big body through his defenseman. And an overall pretty fucking solid day by Miles Jones. Sorry, they're changing it to the game right now. I'm fucking zoning out. But Miles Jones, lefty, you do kind of see that a lot, but not as much. Nice to see him kind of net that one, though. That was definitely a good feel. But then, you're on a 4-0 run, and you're like, oh, yeah, we're moving away. But then you have Rylan Reese, a 2-pointer on transition, all of a sudden it's 9-6, and you're like, fuck, man. They're right there again. And then it fucking sucks when you have Connor Kelly, he scores from 2, it's fucking 9-8, and you're like, what the how the fuck did this just happen? So Rylan Reese with a 2-pointer, Connor Kelly with a 2-pointer, but then a great skip pass, kind of risky by Miles Jones, but that puts Garnsey in a great position. I think it was Jones to Adams, Adams to Garnsey, Garnsey puts it home, 10-8. And then 6 straight wins at the face-off for the Redwoods. Pretty fucking amazing. And then what was even more amazing was the last defensive stand that the Redwoods had. It was something to be noted, undoubtedly. An absolute amazing poke check by one of the defensemen. Ball comes loose. Scrum for the ball. I think Harbinson comes out with it, brings it down, passes it to Sergio Perkovic, and then Perkovic puts it home for the game-clinching goal with about 30 seconds left, and it's 11-8 Redwoods. So that's 19. I think that was the under. I didn't check the over-under, but I would expect it. It really doesn't go underneath. Doesn't really go underneath 20 at all. But I'd be really surprised if it went underneath 19. So Eddie Glazner had a hell of a day. You heard him mic'd up all the time. He was overall doing a great job orchestrating the defense, and I think he was the one who made that last poke check to seal the game. Garnsey and Jones both had 4 points. Our face-off men combined for 60%, 70% with a dude whose name starts with a P, and then Smith with 50%. Troutner, 11 saves, 65%. And then on the other side, you had Connor Kelly with 3 points. DiNapoli had a great game on Jones. Even though Jones had that 2-pointer and that lefty run, for the most part, DiNapoli, who's a shorter dude, but he's pretty fucking stocky, was able to push him, through the offense. Hard to keep him on one side of the field, but was able to keep him moving and knock him down the middle and keep him away from the alleys. I thought that he was, and it was extremely impressive watching him on Miles Jones. Withers had 54%, but Semino was 14% at the stripe, and then DeLuca had 15 saves at 60%. So pretty tough day for the Water Dogs overall. Um, they just weren't able to pull it together like the Redwoods were able to. They had a couple 2-pointers to get themselves back into it. I expect them to be better next season. We'll see what happens with this draft. We'll see how they're able to pick out, who goes at what point. But I would like to see the Water Dogs go first overall, and maybe fucking draft the guy like Flowers. Flowers is his name, something like that. But we'll take a quick break, and then I'll give you the Archers Atlas recap. And so far it's been no fucking joke, man. So we'll see how this goes. One game was super offensive, the next game was super defensive, and I have a feeling like it's going to be a good overall battle. This will be the closest to the over/under, I believe. So we'll get that to you in a second. All right, sorry this took so long, but we have Archers Atlas. The over/under was 22, and we start off with the Archers all over the Atlas. They go on a 4-0 run, get 4 goals in a minute 34 seconds. Joey Sankey from deep, just inside the arc. Tom Schreiber to Courier off the pick and roll. You got Ratliff with an insane pass to Will Manny. Ratliff looking like an attackman throughout this entire thing. You got Fowler off the faceoff win. He comes down and just scores right away. And then on the other side, you have Paul Rabel doing too much with the turnover early. But then to finish off the first quarter, Crawley kind of trying to bring the team back together. He scores off a sweep. It's 4-1 after the first. Quickly, though, Tom Schreiber in the second scores a goal off of a slip pick. So the pick happens, and then he just kind of slips behind. 2 attackmen go to, I think that was either Manny or Holman or Ambler. One of them. He dumps it down to Schreiber. Schreiber throws it in the back of the net. Then Schreiber again, off a sweep, cuts across the entire field, and while running laterally, scores again. So it's 6-3 at this point. And then Cloutier from Law. So Cloutier has been doing a pretty good job trying to score, especially in this game particularly. We'll see a little bit later on. And then again, we have Schreiber to Courier. Great catch, but a better shot. 7-2. And then at this point, this is the first time I think Rob Pannell gets on the board. He has a good no-angle shot, quick catch and release, really good goal by him. Goes into the interview, and he knew that he was showing that the entire goddamn motherfucking time. Next we have Schreiber, again doing it all himself, getting his hat trick before the half even ends. Ambler having a great day, outstretching the offense. He did a really good job initiating and orchestrating the offense. Connor Busick, though, barely from 2. That had to be reviewed. Couldn't be overturned, so they just left it as is. So 8-5 all of a sudden. And then Pannell, just too fast, gets around the cage, just beats everybody. 8-6, and that's how we go into half. If you're keeping track, Drew Adams played in the first half and then played in the second half. First time that ever happened. But that was due to a Gittleman injury. So they let him sit out, gave him a little bit of a break. And then in the second half was more like the first quarter. Not like the first quarter, actually. Because the first quarter was pretty one-sided. But it was less scoring. Nothing was really like the second quarter from here on out. So third quarter, again, Ratliff to Manny on the fast break, 9-6. And then Pannell to Cloutier. Cloutier's second goal of the game. He's got a nice catch and shoot right there. And then Cloutier scores another one. He gets a back-to-back. Big body, forces his way through. That's his hat trick. And the Atlas are all of a sudden on a 5-1 run. It's 9-8. So from going down to 6-1, it's 9-8. But then Will Manny with a nice jump shot. He's a pretty short guy, so he had to get up there to get that shot off around his defender and then through, I believe, the 5-hole or just to the right of Adams. Or I'm sorry, of Concannon. So that we have 10-8, and then Concannon, full field, hits Law, but then he hits the post with like .01 seconds left. It was that close. That was. I think if they scored that, that might have changed the whole dynamic for us of the game. But in the fourth quarter, Pennell close to scoring a goal. That was overturned though. But then he comes right back again. Pennell rolls back, gets a goal, 10-9. But then Ambler finally gets on the score sheet with his goal, a nice fadeaway, looking upfield, and then just lets it fucking ring. He scores 11-9. And the last possession for the Atlas, Paul Rabel is not on the field. Not the greatest overall possession I've ever seen in my life. So really the whole game, if you really want to see it, was the first quarter, that minute 34 seconds, and then the second quarter, and then the rest of the game. We could pretty much just leave it after halftime because I think, it was still like a 2-goal game. Overall, not too surprised. It was an under, so I got that right. Archer's won, so I got that right. Schreiber with 5 points. Ratliff with 2 assists, 3 cross turnovers, 6 ground balls. Kelly and Fowler had 50% and 63%, 36% on the faceoffs. And then Abs, 12 saves, 60% in net. Pennell on the other side with 4 points. Van Raphorst, 2 cross turnovers, 6 ground balls. Baptiste to 62% at the faceoff, and Concannon 11 saves, 50%. Not the greatest day by Concannon. Not the greatest day by the Atlas overall. Not even the greatest day by the Archers overall. Kind of in between of the other 2 games. The Chaos game was all offense. Chaos Chrome game was all offense. And then the Redwoods Water Dogs game was all defense. So you had some good streaks of offense, some good streaks of defense, and then some good streaks of just cause turnovers. A couple finishing points for each team. Chrome, I think, is on the right path. Just a tough day defensively and in the net. I think overall, though, better than last season. So at least they're moving up at that point, and I think they really know who they are. Gaudet, Wolf, and Gutterding, a great line. Their midfielders, King looking good. Defensively, definitely could get a couple more defensemen or some LSMs or some short stick Ds. Not too sure about that, but Chrome I think needs to improve defensively. I think in net they're okay. I think Galloway just had a bad day, and we'll see Chaos tomorrow. Water Dogs I think had a good opening. I think they just kind of have to figure out who the fuck they are. Tough circumstances to start a team and to enter a league. Only team that didn't have their cohesive unit together. Overall, I think DeLuca will probably end up starting in net next year. I think he showed that he's, not half bad. Their offense looks good. Maybe have to figure out what the fuck Connor Kelly's going to do with his life because he looked a little lost. Maybe need a little bit more from their attackmen. But overall, not the worst. Only 1 win, 4 losses. So, not great, but not the worst I've ever seen in my entire life. And then with the Atlas have a lot of fucking issues, man. They have a great defenseman in Van Raphorst, maybe the best in the league. They have a good goaltender, a good face-off guy. They don't give up a whole lot of fucking goals, especially like the Archers only held to 11 points. Pretty good. But when it comes to their offense, I'm not sure what the issue is. You have Rob Pennell, you have Wolf, you have Cloutier. You have not Wolf, you have Law, you have Cloutier, you have Rabel, you have Dennis, you have now the other guy, Constable. Those are 5 dudes off the top of my fucking head that I know are guys who can fucking do great things. Kosovo looks good, didn't show up too much in this game. Rabel looked horrible the entire fucking series. Pennell looked good. Maybe the ball got stuck in his stick a little bit more. Overall, he did pretty decent. Good year by Cloutier. He's coming out, scored a couple goals. Good for him. But just overall, I'm not too pumped about any of this shit. Not too pumped. So they got to figure out offensively for sure, because I think everything else is pretty good. They just have to figure out what the fuck they're doing. And they got a new coach in the whole 9 yards, but still just not working out. So we have Redwoods. Let's check out this the DraftKings. So we have Redwoods versus Whipsnakes. The over-under for this, there is none right now, which sucks. I can never fucking find that shit, man. And then we have Archer's Chaos. Archer's Chouse. So with this, obviously I'm going to go Redwoods. But if you're betting, don't get mad at me if the Whipsnakes lose. Or if the Whipsnakes win. With this, I'm not sure what the over-under is going to be, but personally, whenever the Redwoods play, I go under. And then Archer Chaos, I'm going to go Archers because I think that they're just way too good of a fucking unit to lose. And this, I'll go with the over for this game. I'm not sure what it'll be, but we'll figure it out. Overall, though, excited to see these two games. Excited to see the matchup with the championship last season. I think that the Redwoods are going to struggle, especially at the face-off dot. So it'll be nice to see if their defense can stand up. I think they can. It just depends on how much and how much they need to. They looked better at the face-off dot last week, especially against the second-best duo in the league. So who knows what's going to happen there. Obviously, a bunch of surprises. Archer's Chaos. This might end up being Blaze Reardon's game. If Blaze Reardon can show up, play really well, and if they can, at least go 50-50 at the face-off, I think that defensively, especially if Rowlett comes back, they'll look really good. I would expect to not see Connor Farrell. Let me just make sure. Connor Fields, I would not expect to see Connor Fields in the game. I would expect Thompson to play over him again after the fucking last outing. And it'll be interesting to see if that was a fluke or if that's what they have in them. Overall, though, that'll be some tough adjustments, but I think that'll be a good scoring game. If you like defense, definitely check out the Redwoods, but the Whipsnakes are, if you want to see good adjustments, I would watch the Whipsnakes. And if you want to just see an overall fucking offensive battle, I would definitely check out Archer's Chaos. And if you want to see great goaltending, I think the Gittleman-Adams duo is always great, and then Blaze Reardon is my goaltender of the year. It'll be exciting. That starts tomorrow. Islanders on right now. They're down 1-0 with a 2-0 lead. They're down 1-0 in the game with a 2-0 lead in the series on the Panthers. Who knows what the fuck's going to happen. But they're going on the power play, so some meaningless 2 minutes, but we'll fucking figure it out, man. Alright, so we'll see Archers and Redwoods in the championship series. If you know, you know. And I can't fucking wait to watch that shit, man. I cannot fucking wait. So tomorrow, 8 o'clock and 10:30. Not sure which one's on NBC Gold, but I cannot fucking wait.